Salvete discepoli. In this video, we will have an introduction to irregular perfect tense verbs. Okay, so in the last chapter, we learned about imperfect tense verbs and what we call regular perfect tense. We are now about to encounter the irregular perfect tenses. So we begin. Amicus Kaikilium visitabat. The friend was visiting Kaikilius. So again, bat is the imperfect, which means was visiting. Now we have a regular perfect tense verb. Remember, the regular ones, we have a V. We know that that means perfect tense. The IT ending is for the singular third person, and it'll be just regular past tense. He entered the house. Now, this is something new. When you have a sentence like Willam intravit, notice there is no nominative subject in this sentence. When you have that, you assume the nominative subject from the previous sentence, okay? So the he of he entered the house is the amicus from the previous sentence. Kaikilius amicum expectabat. Kaikilius was waiting for the friend. Amicum salutavit, he greeted the friend. Okay, so who's the he here? Well, again, there's no nominative subject in amicum salutavit. The third person singular verb is describing the nominative from the previous sentence. Amicus cum Kaikilio cenabat. The friend was dining with Kaikilius. Now notice when Romans dined, they dined while reclining on couches and reaching and taking food off the table. Cenam laudavit, he praised the dinner. Poeta triclinium intravit, a poet entered the dining room. It would seem that Kaikilius hired this poet to recite some verse just for entertainment, and so versum recitavit, he recited a verse. Again, people, regular perfect tense, okay? The V tells us it's perfect tense. The IT is the he, she, or it form, third person singular, for the perfect tense. Get ready now to meet the irregular perfect tense. Amicus poculum inspexit. Now, inspicit is the present tense. Inspects. We don't have a V for the perfect tense. Inspexit is the perfect tense of this verb. Okay? The friend inspected the cup. The bad news I have for you right now is that irregular perfect tenses are just that. They're irregular. You could never have predicted what the perfect tense was going to be. You pretty much have to memorize them on a case-by-case basis. So from now on, when you are learning vocabulary, if what you're learning is a verb and it's an irregular perfect tense verb, your vocabulary card really should have both the present tense and the perfect tense on it so that you are seeing both of them and you're ready for both of them when you encounter them in a sentence. Vinum gustavit, he tasted the wine. Here comes another one. Amicus poculum hausit. Now, haurit means empties or drains in the sense of like emptying a cup of everything in it into your mouth. You could almost even say like chug or guzzle here for this verb. But notice, haurit is the present tense. The perfect tense is hausit. The friend emptied the cup. Tum fabulam longam narravit. Then he told a long story. Here's another one. Kaikilius Plausit. Now the present tense, plaudit, means applauds or claps. But we have plausit. It is the irregular perfect tense of this verb. Kaikilius applauded. Now, this is one to really memorize because it comes up a lot. Euge dixit. Now, dicit is the present tense says, okay? Euge means hooray. Dixit is the perfect tense. The C turns into an X. Just as you had with inspicit became inspexit, okay? Now, in that case, we also had a change of a vowel. Again, this just shows you how irregular these irregular perfect tenses can be. Hooray, he said. Now, something interesting here. Take a look at the verb to drink. The present tense is bibit. He, she, or it drinks. But look, the perfect tense is also bibit. That can happen, okay? Bibit is also he, she, or it drank. Now, in the plural, they won't be identical. The present tense, bibunt, they drink. Biberunt is the perfect tense, because you know that erunt ending is the third person plural they form in the perfect tense. And so, amici optimum vinum biberunt, the friends drank the excellent wine. Now, here's another very irregular one. Surgit means gets up. Tandem surrexerunt. Finally, they got up. Okay, there's the erunt ending. That's regular. But think of how different. Surg is the root, and the perfect tense root is surrex. Okay, that just needs to be memorized. Servi in atrio stabant. The slaves were standing in the atrium. Januam aperuerunt. They opened the door. Amicus vale dixit. The friend said goodbye. E villa discessit. Now, discedit means leaves or goes out, and the irregular perfect tense is discessit. He left the house. Now, I've got out of here in parentheses because Latin requires the preposition a, which means out of, when you use the verb discedit, discessit, okay? But your English translation could just say, he left the house. Okay, so again, just to give you an overview of what is possible, here are some perfect tenses that we just encountered. Some common things. You'll notice it's not uncommon for an X to appear. So just as you got used to seeing a V and thinking perfect tense, if you see a verb and there's an X right before the ending, there's an excellent chance that it is, in fact, a perfect tense verb. Other things that tended to happen, instead of the normal root, we have an S up here, okay? So that's we have a double S here and a single S here. Another thing to be on the lookout for is not a V, but a U, okay? So aperit opens becomes aperuit. Now, one final thing to be on the lookout for. This is the verb to see, okay? The IT ending is normal in the perfect tense, but otherwise, if this text had long marks, there would be a long mark right here indicating that this is pronounced weedit, whereas this is widet, okay? So if you don't have long mark, the only difference is the ending itself, okay? But the long mark is real. It does change the pronunciation. And so, students, all you can do with these verbs is, again, you need to make a vocab card of the most common of them, make sure it includes the perfect tense, and just memorize these. You will, however, more commonly be seeing the perfect tense from now on instead of the present tense.